What do? You talk directly into the microphone, and that way people can hear you? Okay, thank you.
Previously on the Ron Van Dam Show.
What color's your shoe? What color's your shoe? What color's your shoe? I'm not sure what other people are saying.
And now, today's episode.
On the air everywhere, this is New England Broadcasting.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Hold on tight, things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
Hey, welcome to the program. It's the Ron Van Dam Show. My name is, guess. Yeah, it's Ron Van Dam. That's the name that my parents gave me. I had nothing to do with it whatsoever. I'm stuck with it for my entire life. I think my parents wanted to name me Bob, but the doctor said, no, you can't name him Bob. That name's already taken. Do you realize what happened there? Do you realize that everybody in your family, when you're not looking, goes into the kitchen, opens a refrigerator, and drinks milk directly out of the carton? You know they do, but you don't want to know they do. If there's nobody around, they'll do it. You'll never know. All those years you thought that you were the only one. Now you've been sharing saliva with your friends here. Drinking milk directly out of the carton it's so naughty, it's so wrong, it's like, ugh, it's disgusting. But it's so freeing, like, ooh, look what I did. I drank milk out of the carton. It's horrible. It's like removing the tag from the pillow that says, do not remove tag under penalty of law, and you actually remove the tag from the pillow and the cops don't show up. That's amazing. When you go to a restaurant and you're about to leave the restaurant, they have a little bowl of candy. And what you do is you're supposed to just take one, but you take 3 of them. And you leave the restaurant and you feel like, ooh, I stole 2 extra pieces. I'm so naughty. I took 2 extra pieces of candy. All right, that's enough. Just calm down, shut up, calm down, that's enough. Had enough of your crap for one day. Welcome to the program. I am Ron Van Dam. I said that already. I'm repetitive, but sometimes it takes a lot to drill it into your head that that's my name and that's what you're listening to. I know you clicked on this thing on purpose. I thank you for that. I don't know how to thank you, so I just say thank you. Okay, here we go. Here's what we do here. I talk, you listen, and you get to rest. You can even take a nap. I don't really care what you do. Let me just do this thing. You just tolerate me as best you can. It's a freeing, wonderful feeling as well. Oh yeah, you're right. Yesterday, I It was 95 degrees here in the area that I live in, which is very, 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 very hot. Believe me. When I walked, and it was humid too. As soon as I walked outside, sweat started dripping from my forehead. I don't know where it comes from, but all of a sudden, it's like someone turned on a faucet, and my hair gets soaking wet, and I start dripping, and I have to run inside and get a towel and start dabbing my forehead. So it's a horrible way to live. People love the heat. I've talked about this so much, I'm even getting bored about it. So I go out yesterday, I get in my car, which is nicely air-conditioned, I must say. I don't really care about the car taking me places. I just like it to be air-conditioned. I don't really care what happens in it. So I go to the store, and I see this woman. She's jogging. She's jogging. Now, jogging is just running. I don't know why they had to come up with a name called, I don't know what jogging means. The woman was running. And she wasn't running from anything or to anything. She was just aimlessly running. It's the strangest form of exercise ever. I understand it's good for you, but it doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't do anything. If you're going to exercise, at least get from point A to point B. In other words, you leave your house and you start running to the grocery store to buy a stick of gum, whatever, and then you get the stick of gum and you run home. That's a purpose. I spent the last 20 minutes running, getting a stick of gum, and running home. I achieved something. I got a stick of gum. But just to aimlessly go out of your house and just run around like you don't know where you're going, what did you achieve? Well, I ran. What are you, naming countries now? What are you talking about? So what? Oh, no. I got exercise. What are you talking about? You're aimlessly running from nothing to nothing. But when you call it jogging, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I didn't know you were actually jogging. That's a thing. Okay. Now, when you jog, you can't just run. You have to dress like this is some type of an event. You have to somehow justify the fact that you're running nowhere. So I ask you, in that sense, this question.
What are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing today? What are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing today?
So this lady is running, jogging, and this is the way she's dressed. It's stupid enough to publicly run around for no reason whatsoever except your own self-gratification and your pathway to cardiac arrest. It's another thing to be in a costume while you're doing it. Here's what she was wearing. She had shorts on, and they weren't Bermuda shorts. I have no idea what that means. I guess shorts in Bermuda are a thing. She's wearing really short shorts. Her legs completely exposed. She's wearing sneakers, no socks. On her upper part of her body, her torso, she's wearing a hooded sweatshirt. Oh my God! Oh my God! That's the most confusing apparel you can possibly wear. Waist down, complete skin. Waist up, a sweatshirt with a hood. What season is that? What season are you dressing for? I felt like stopping her and saying, you look like an idiot. You look like an idiot. Why are your legs completely naked and the top of your body like you're in the frozen tundra? What's going on with that? I assumed that you would respond by saying, well, I like to keep the heat that I generate in my upper body. What, you can't afford pants? Your lower body can't retain heat? What are you doing? What is your point? Well, when I run, I want to remain comfortable. Then take the damn sweatshirt off. With a hood? What? With a hood? But I don't own any sweatshirts without a hood. Buy one. Buy a sweatshirt without a hood. And then when you're running, don't wear it. It's the strangest thing ever. Then she had her hair tied back in a ponytail. And I said, it's interesting because when you run, your ponytail is whipping you in the shoulders and the neck. If there's any time you would want to wear your hair in a bun, I mean any time, because wearing your hair in a bun is the ugliest look ever. If you really, really, really want to look ugly, put a hair knob on top of your head. A bun? Why would you know what a bun is? A bun is something that you buy in a bakery, or you put deli meat in it. You don't wear it on top of your head. You don't wear buns. But if there's any time you would ever consider putting a hair bun on top of your head, it's when you're running jogging. Not the ponytail whipping thing. Did you ever see a horse running? A horse is whipping itself with its tail. Same with a ponytail. Look, you're probably saying, Ron, you're being way too specific here. Things bother you way too much. I know. That's why I do this show. That's why I'm in this business here, this godforsaken business. It's because it gets it off my chest. I notice things that other people don't notice. It's like a horse with blinders on. That's your life. Mine is like, whoa, too much information. Stop bombarding me with everything. I could do a 6-hour show on any topic whatsoever. And you may say, Ron, that's quite a talent. No, it's quite a sickness is what it is. Actually, it's perfectly fine. I'm doing this for theatrical purposes. I get very, very theatrical. If you're going to do this kind of thing, you can't just talk about simple things that nobody cares about, such as I tend to do every once in a while. But no one can do a podcast. Hi, I'm Jimmy. Everything is wonderful. I had dinner last night and I went to bed. Then I woke up this morning. My name is Jimmy. I like long walks on the beach. I like boating, and I like food, and I have many friends. My friends are Tommy and Joey, and sometimes we'll talk about things or go to the ballpark and watch a boring baseball game. We'll have a hot dog, and then I will go home. My mother loves me very much. She does the dishes, and I help her sometimes put them in the cabinet. Other times, I will help my father with some yard work. What a wonderful podcast show you have! No, you got to be over dramatic. You got to embellish. You got to get angry. You got to get upset. Most of your subjects have to begin with, "What's up with that?" That's what we do. You have to be dramatic. Because when you are dramatic, the crowd loves you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Oh, thank you very much. Oh my God. Please sit down. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. See, that's how you do things. That's how it works.
You are listening to The Ron Van Dam Show. But you need to know that it's okay. We all make mistakes, and we must learn to forgive ourselves. The universe wants us to be happy, whether or not we listen to The Ron Van Dam Show. Nothing is forever, including The Ron Van Dam Show. You will be fine. The universe will try to forget about this one.
Oh, sorry, just dozed off there for a second. I I do keep on top of things. That's a mental situation, not physical. I don't run. I don't jog. I don't even walk. I drive. That's my exercise. I drive. My feet are in great, great physical condition. Anyway, it's political time. There are, I believe, 22 candidates for president of the United States on the Democratic end of things. I wish there were 22 on the Republican end, but unfortunately that's not the case. There's a lot of Democrats who are wringing their hands saying, I can do this. I can do this one. If he can do it, I can do it. Fox News, remember them? They did a poll. They did a poll of likely Democratic voters in South Carolina, which is apparently a pivotal state. They did a poll, and they found that Joe Biden was 10 points ahead of any of his contenders, which would include Kamala Harris and all the other people. Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders. Joe Biden had a very clear lead. This is a Fox News poll. It's always interesting when a Fox News poll takes place because it's going to be slanted, but apparently, I don't know. That's what they found. On the very bottom of the screen when I was watching this on the television of Fox, I watch Fox every once in a while just so I can, it's almost like getting a colonoscopy. I clear my system. I watch Fox News, I throw up, and I feel better. On the very bottom of the screen, it actually says how many people were a part of this poll. And I knew this in the past, but this was the strangest of all. At the very bottom, in the smallest print on this graphic on Fox News about this poll, it said 710 people were polled. Do you know how many people are in this country? They're doing a poll of South Carolina with 710 people. That's nothing. How many people are actually living in South Carolina? 720? I mean, seriously. National polls, when they're talking about the entire country, they frequently poll about 1,200 people. What? 1,200 people represent like 200 million people who vote? Are you serious? And yet polls are somewhat accurate. Except during the 2016 presidential election, where it was clear that Hillary Clinton would be the next president. In reality, she should have been, because she got 3 million more votes than Donald Trump. But that would be too easy. So we went with the Electoral College, and you know the problem with colleges these days. Overpriced, too expensive, too many college loans, and people getting into college by pulling their weight and paying off colleges. And that's what we depended on, the Electoral College. I don't know why they call it that. It has nothing to do with a college. Anyway, my point was that polls really are taken amongst a very small number of people. And if you look at the fine print when a poll is printed or displayed, you'll be surprised how few people were actually asked the question of which you're getting the response. And you say to yourself, "What? How is this possible?" I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what the hell we're doing here. All right. I do have a guest coming up momentarily. His name is Ali Master. And he's written a book, Beyond the Golden Door. He's not from this country, but not only did he come to the United States, but he actually changed religions. And it's interesting to find out what this country is like to people that immigrate here, that don't live here and want to. What does this country look like to them? You might know the answer, you might not, but it's kind of fascinating, and it's certainly a topic that is being discussed as we speak. So we're going to check in with this individual. It's a fascinating person. I've actually haven't read the whole book because I don't have time to read all the books that I interview here on the show. But I did start to read it, and it was pretty cool. Hey, do you like beef jerkies? Here's something even better.
Ain't always easy these days to know what to give your kids for snacks. Sugary this, high fructosey that. Heck, even the stuff they call natural ain't always natural. But there's one snack when your kids ask for it, you know exactly what you're giving them.
I want piggy parts. I want piggy parts.
Professor Parker's preserved piggy parts are 100% all-natural salt-preserved pig parts. What parts, you ask? Well, some folks would call them scraps or ears or hoofs, but kids just call them delicious. And with their stiff, leathery texture, one Professor Parker's preserved piggy part will last a kid all afternoon. That's what we call value. So stock up now for school. You'll find them at the end of the pet food aisle in original, barbecue, or vinegar, garlic, teriyaki, onion, habanero, pineapple flavor. Give them a try and you'll see why kids say,
That's some good piggies.
Professor Parker's preserved piggy parts.
Ali Master joins us. He is the author of an interesting book called Beyond the Golden Door. That's very topical in the sense that we seem to be going through everything these days. Everything seems to be topical. This is a book about the ups and downs of Ali's story, which is fascinating. You're from a background that is different than most people may be familiar with. Were you born in the United States?
No, I was born in Karachi, Pakistan, Ron. So came here at the age of about 19.
All right. And how long ago was that? Just so I can...
We're talking mid-'80s, 86.
Okay. All right. So so you're living in the United States as a Muslim. And at that point, there's been a change in your religious title, apparently. Are you still a Muslim?
No, I became a Christian, frankly, like 3 years after I landed in New York.
Okay. So, I mean, the big question that most people would ask would be, what made you even consider changing?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I grew up in a fairly strong Muslim home growing up in Pakistan, but for those of you that know that part of the world, I mean, you really don't have any options.
Right.
99% of the nation is Muslim.
Yes.
And so I had come to America with all these stereotypes about what Christians are like, what the Bible's all about, so on and so forth. So what changed was really meeting people here, and specifically this one individual who eventually became my wife, and getting my hands on a Bible and studying it and seeing it in people's lives without the fear of persecution, because you're free to study it here without, any pressure.
Yeah. Well, it's usually the spouse that opens the eyes, I always say. Okay. Yeah, which is, for those that haven't traveled much, Muslim religion and countries are very deeply embedded in that system as a point of regimen on a daily basis. There's nothing like that in this country.
Exactly. I mean, I think the difference that the audience may not have experienced is how much the faith in eastern parts of the world, especially Muslim nations, is so intertwined, as you're saying. So, yeah, whether you're going to go eat somewhere or whether you're going to go through, you've got calls to prayer going on 5 times a day, so you're constantly reminded. So your rituals on a day-to-day basis, on the smallest little things you do, are affected by the rituals of the faith, unlike here where there's some separation.
Absolutely. Were you living in New York City when you moved here?
No, I came to New York just for a short time, and then off I went to Texas. So most of the story happens in the North Texas area, yes.
That seems like a little more of a challenge. Knowing New York City, which is the capital of the world, anybody can really get into living in New York and still be an individual and also be a part. When you leave the cosmopolitan areas, things get a little bit more rigid, don't they?
Yes, they do, especially in the 80s. It was a different time to be in Texas as a brown-skinned person.
Yes.
And I ran into some interesting experiences, but I also ran into some pretty friendly people. So I've seen both sides of it, Ron.
Yeah. And then 9/11 comes along, and you had already been in the country for quite a period of time.
Yes.
Did that rattle any foundations for you where you were living then?
Great question. At that time, I was a permanent resident. I was not a citizen, American citizen at that point. And in the beginning, it was pretty scary, being from a Muslim country, and I traveled a lot by air. So for a while, I just drove around to places instead of going to the airport.
Don't blame you.
And then eventually, I just felt like, I need to just put my best foot forward. There were a few incidents here and there, but overall, I felt like the American people were fair in not judging an entire culture by the acts of the few. And then I went back home just to visit. When I went back home, that's when it was the fire really burned in me, because my family, that was very strong Muslim, they didn't even acknowledge the event. They didn't even acknowledge that it was a terrorist event at that time. So when I came back to the United States, that's when I decided I really need to make a choice, and I became a U.S. citizen in 2002.
Okay. And then we have another incident, and that's called Trump. And when he became president, when he was even campaigning, this was another extraordinary turn of events as far as all situations are concerned, people from all different countries. But Muslims went through a certain type of process, again, for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, that was hard as well. I mean, I feel like the immigration rules have also tightened quite a bit for many. So, I just continue to just focus on the positive things that about this nation, right? But it's definitely become harder for some immigrants to come here and to make a life.
Well, hopefully it's a temporary situation, and we can all do something about that next year, but I want to talk about that. The book is fascinating because it shows not only the struggle, but what one goes through. In your case, as coming from that country, but people coming from all different countries at this point and trying to assimilate into this society. I've always said, and I'm sure you feel the same way, that you can't really love this country unless you know what it's like not to be in this country.
Yes, that's the heart of the message. I kind of grade America on a bell curve, and it's still the place to be, in my opinion, and that opinion's formed because I've experienced a lack of freedom other places, as you're saying.
Correct.
And so that helps you appreciate what you have here. And I talk about these 5 freedoms in the book, freedom to fail and start again, freedom to love whoever you're going to, freedom of religion, whether you choose to believe something or not, but you're free to do so, freedom to build something, and freedom of government.
Yes. Very true. In this country, there's supposed to be a separation from church and state. I find that to be a very fuzzy line and one of a controversial situation. I always believed that spirituality and religion was an individual connection and not a social one necessarily. In that sense, I know you're also saying in the book, and I've read most of it, is that we need to embrace what we have. The appreciation. It's almost like if you live in New York City, you possibly have never been to the Statue of Liberty. It's that kind of you don't even know what you have where you are until you go out and appreciate that environment.
Yes. And really sort of understanding where the roots are and those values that make us American, right? It doesn't matter what color you are, what faith, what sexual orientation. I think you do have to kind of understand that foundation that makes us Americans, and that's what I talk about.
Yeah. It's a great book, and thank you for writing it, because it should be I wouldn't say a wake-up call, but it's like splashing water on your face and getting refreshed, as far as Americans are concerned. So your story is very interesting and must be appreciated from looking outside the window and then looking in, actually. But now you're part of the window. The book is called Beyond the Golden Door. Again, a fascinating read and something that should have been written, and Ollie actually did that. How do we assume the book's available everywhere? How do we follow you?
Yeah, you can follow me on Facebook. I'm on at author Ali Master on Twitter. On Facebook, I'm at author Ali Master. So I would love to connect with the listeners, and then you can go to my website and connect, which is alimaster.com.
Okay, let me spell that. It's ALI, and then Master, MASTER. Good. You're a good person. It's good to talk to you. I appreciate it. The book is called...
Thanks for having me.
Beyond the Golden Door. Pick it up. Thank you, my friend. Bye-bye.
Take care.
We have reached the end of another outing. But fear not, my friends. I will be returning the next time a weekday rolls around, which will be rather soon, at which time we can gather around the campfire and put marshmallows on the end of sticks until they burn, and then put the hot lava marshmallow in our mouth like we had never done that before. That's life. I wish you peace.